We all know the story of Apple, Samsung, and Google when it comes to smartphones. But what about Nokia? They were actually the dominant player for many years before the iPhone came along. So how did they get so big, and how did they fall so far? Welcome to our channel. And in this video, we'll be taking a look at the history of Nokia. This is the rise and fall of Nokia. The beginning, 1865, early 1900s. The story of Nokia dates back to Finland in 1865 when it was founded by Frederick Idestam. Originally, it was just a small paper mill by a river in the town of Nokia. That's right, the company was named after the river, not the other way around. Later, it would expand to produce rubber products like boots and cables for the mining industry. As the company grew, it began producing more industrial goods like power cables and mining explosives. By the turn of the century, Nokia had become one of the most important companies in Finland. Diversification, 1900s, 1960s. In the early 1900s, Nokia grew into a true conglomerate-type business, expanding into various new markets and industries. They continued making cables, but also began manufacturing tires, boots, conveyor belts, and even radios. After World War II, Nokia set up factories around Europe, and by the end of the 1950s it was one of the biggest tire manufacturers in Europe. It was also the biggest employer in Finland. In the 1960s, Nokia set its sights on electronics. They released their first transistor radio in 1960 and their first television in 1963. They also manufactured telecom equipment like exchanges and mobile radio systems. In fact, in 1965, Nokia played a huge role in launching the world's first mobile telephone service, the Nordic Mobile Telephone, or NMT. This analog cellular network covered the entire Nordic region and was a huge step towards bringing mobile phones to the masses. In 1967, they even built an industrial park near Helsinki, where most of their major Finnish operations are still based today. By the 1970s, Nokia was firmly established as a major player in the electronics and telecom industries. They had thousands of employees and were well known across Europe. But compared to what they would accomplish in the following decades, this was just the beginning. Entry into electronics and telecom, 1960s, 1980s. During the 1970s, Nokia continued to grow and expand, opening new factories in places like Belgium and Germany. And in 1981, they helped launch the world's first commercial mobile network in Finland, Nordic Mobile Telephone, or NMT. 5 years later, in 1986, Nokia released its first GSM mobile phone, the Mobira Cityman. It was one of the first handheld mobile phones in the world and weighed in at a whopping 10.3 pounds. In terms of technology at the time, that was pretty light. But more importantly, this showed that Nokia was ready for the mobile revolution. Throughout the rest of the 1980s, Nokia developed a wide range of mobile phones, both analog and digital. By the end of the decade, they had become the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturer. Golden Age, 1990s, 2000s. The 1990s and early 2000s were undoubtedly Nokia's golden age. Under the leadership of CEO Jorma Ollila, Nokia made the bold decision to ditch all of its non-phone businesses and go all in on telecommunications. In 1992, they released the iconic Nokia 2110, one of the best-selling phones of all time. It was the first mass-market mobile phone to feature the unforgettable Nokia ringtone, which became a pop culture phenomenon. Over the next few years, Nokia released dozens of popular models, including the legendary Nokia 5110 and 3310. These phones were incredibly popular and defined an era. People loved them because they were incredibly durable and had some of the best battery life in the industry, which was perfect for people who didn't want to be tethered to an outlet. Of course, we can't forget about the built-in game Snake, which became a cultural icon and spawned countless copycats. By 1998, Nokia had taken the crown as the world's biggest mobile phone maker, and they would hold over 40% of the global market throughout the early 2000s. For many people around the world, especially in developing countries, Nokia was synonymous with mobile phones. Their reliable devices gave people the confidence to use mobile technology for the very first time. Decline, 2007-2014. Unfortunately, Nokia's reign at the top didn't last forever. In 2007, Apple launched the iPhone, which kicked off a new era of touchscreen smartphones. At first, this didn't affect Nokia too much. Their sales continued to climb and they remained the top dog in the industry. But slowly but surely, Android manufacturers began eating away at their market share. Nokia struggled to adapt to the changing times and stuck with their traditional keypad phones for way too long. To make matters worse, they partnered with Microsoft to use Windows Phone OS, which was a distant third behind iOS and Android. Sales began to plummet, and in 2011, Nokia made the difficult decision to lay off thousands of workers. By 2014, it was clear that Nokia needed to get out of the phone business. They had lost too much ground to Apple, Samsung, and Google, so they struck a deal with Microsoft, agreeing to sell their mobile phone division for $7.2 billion. With that, the era of Nokia phones came to an end. Reinvention, 2015. Present. After selling their phone business, Nokia shifted their focus back to their original telecom roots. They began investing heavily in 4G and 5G infrastructure, as well as digital technology and services. Interestingly enough, the Nokia brand returned to smartphones in 2016 when a Finnish company called HMD Global struck a licensing deal with Nokia. HMD now produces and markets Nokia-branded Android phones, which have been doing quite well. In fact, Nokia is now one of the fastest-growing smartphone brands in the world. Today, Nokia continues to be a major player in the global networks market. They're behind many of the 5G networks being built around the world and are at the forefront of developing future communication technologies. So, what's next for Nokia? Who knows? What do you think they should focus on moving forward? Do you have any crazy Nokia stories from back in the day? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like the video, please hit that like button. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.